how I prep and store my produce for successful juicing. Here you can see this beautiful spread that I have. I got these organic items yesterday at a beautiful organic farm. Look at these apples. Aren't they amazing? They were only $1 for 5 apples. So the deals are out there. You just have to look for them and be comparing and look for your local farmers. Here I have some nectarines. Now I'm not going to juice these or prep these, but I have them out because I got them at that farm, and I'm probably just going to have them in a fruit bowl. They are so delicious. I'll finish those off here in a day because they go bad fast because they're fresh and healthy and natural the way they should be. Here I have beets. Now beets, I will peel them sometimes I won't. I did peel these beets and cut them into sections. Now beets will last in the refrigerator for days, sometimes a week, and they're easy. So I like to just cut them up, put them in a bag or a bowl with a lid, and they will keep in the refrigerator for a week, and I will juice them throughout the week depending on my recipes. Now here I have these delicious cucumbers. Look at these beauties. I also got those at the organic farm. I'm going to make a recipe next out of these cucumbers, so I'm excited for that. Now, these items can stay fresh out on the counter, so I will cut them up just right before I'm going to juice them. Sometimes cucumbers will do great in the fridge for a few days as well if you want to cut them into chunks and put them in a bowl, and you can juice them in the days ahead. Those are some giant zucchinis. Are they gorgeous or what? I may juice those, but I don't cut those up until it is time to juice, okay? And so they will stay on the counter for about a week because they came fresh from the garden, just harvested from the plant. So it's not like they were sitting in a store. So they will stay fresh for a week. And here's a beautiful butternut squash. Look at that gorgeous beauty. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to make some recipes out of that. Once again, I will peel that, cut it up in sections. When it's time to juice, it will stay on the counter, fresh for a few weeks actually. And here I have some cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is absolutely so delicious. I do cut that one up sometimes and just put it in a bowl in the refrigerator. I have some cut up right here. You can see that I've been nibbling on. It was full. It is so delicious. So I don't always juice cantaloupe. I just eat it because it's just so good. But it goes great in some recipes. Now here are the apples. Apples I definitely do not cut up until it is actually time to juice them, okay? Because they oxidize really quickly. They can be put in containers or bowls in the refrigerator for a few days, but no more than that. They will start to brown right away. So I just like to keep them fresh and cut them up right before I make my recipe, okay? Now, oh, these are heirloom tomatoes. I'm not going to juice these, but they're here because they're gorgeous, and I've just been enjoying those in my raw salads and different raw dishes and dressings. Now, I do want to give you a tip here with the cilantro. I like to keep it in the refrigerator and it stays fresh if you put it in a jar with just a little bit of water. You can see right there, okay? And you can snip the bottoms just like you would a plant or a flower to stay fresh so it can drink the water. And it can stay fresh in the refrigerator for a few days. Sometimes it has stayed fresh for a week. It just depends, I think, on how fresh it is, freshly harvested. Now, let me show you what I do because you don't want it to get really cold or frostbitten in the refrigerator. So what I do is I cover it with a kitchen towel. If you want to use paper towels, you can do that as well. But I just kind of cover it like that. And it can go just like that, but I do have a cheesecloth bag that I will sometimes put over that, and I use this to strain my nut milks. And there you go. It's ready to go. Now, I do find that the herbs and the greens like cilantro and parsley and dandelion and mint and all of those items, they're really best if you juice them within a few days, okay? So they stay as fresh as possible. Now let's move on over here to the carrots, okay? So here we have the carrots. Now carrots and celery actually stay the best, the longest in the refrigerator. Celery, carrots, and beets, okay? These all stay in there pretty long, these harder veggies. And the celery sometimes can look a little rough, just depending on, how it looked when you bought it. So pretty much I will cut these up, and I usually juice everything within, 2 to 4 days after purchasing it. So I just like to cut these up, wash them, and either put them in bags or in containers with lids and put them in the refrigerator. And then I juice them, like I said, anywhere from 2 to 5 days really. And they're good. Now here are the carrots. Carrots are ready to go. So I just peeled them and I chopped them up in sections and little pieces. Sometimes I cut them long like this. Other times they're in little chunks like this. And they're ready to go. Now here's the carrot. I saved one to show you because I wanted you to see what it's like before I prepped it. I will cut off all the tips. So I just lined them up on my cutting board. I have my bigger knife and I'll just cut like 4 tips off in a row. And then I even out the tips and I'll slice off the tips as well. And depending on the carrot, how it looks, sometimes they look pretty bad. Sometimes they look really healthy and fresh. So I won't peel them. But if they look like they're a little rough, then I will just get my peeler and I will go ahead and just peel them. So they're ready to go. Nice and fresh and clean. And of course, you want to wash your produce first. Mine is all organic, and that is what I highly recommend. So there you go. Okay, and then just cut off the tips. So I wanted to show you that, and they're ready to go. And you can just pull them out of the refrigerator when you are ready to juice, and it makes the process so much quicker. Okay, next are the lemons. So here I have the lemons. I have this one cut because I needed half of it for a recipe, but these I just prep them just the same day that I'm going to juice, just chop them up. I have left them in the refrigerator a few days once they're chopped up with a lid on the bowl, and they do just fine. Same thing with the limes, but just a few days. But I do prefer to just chop these up fresh. And I find they do better in the refrigerator as well. So I like to keep them in the refrigerator when I get them home. And I will just chop them up before I juice. So I hope that helps. This was just a little kind of brief overview of how to prep your items to make juicing just so much easier and more attainable. So you will keep up with it, because that's the important thing, is you want to keep up with it so you will keep juicing and it will be an easy process for you. Next, I am going to make a juice recipe, and it's all about a mix for radiant, beautiful, healthy skin. So if you want to see that, make sure you watch that video next, and I will see you there.